Hello, everybody, and welcome. We're back to the Graves Mistake podcast. I'm your one host, Starch, and that's your other host.
Hello, I'm Justin. Let's get started.
Yes. So, like I said before on the last episode, today we're going to be talking about Alien Romulus, directed by Fede Alvarez, one of my favorite horror movies to come out this year, and a sequel to a very long, not trilogy. The trilogy's
I
three
didn't say
movies.
it's like a sequel. What is it? It's just an extra.
It's like a requel continuation of a very famous franchise. It plays all the hits. We're big
Yep.
fans over here, so we can get into it. Justin, if you want to give us your little summary real quick.
A quick little summary. We got these Wayland Yutani mine workers that are working on this planet, very desolate. It reminds me of Mustafar from Star Wars, but they are trying to escape. So they found out that there's this the depreciated Wayland Yutani space station that's floating above their planet, and it has these pods that they can use cryo sleep to get to where they're trying to go. This planet that has a sun because of where they are right now has no sun. And once they get up there, some things start going down, and some aliens are appearing.
Yes. So first and foremost, what did you think about the movie? What was your general takeaway and post reaction after you walked out of the theater? What did you think about the movie?
I thought that everything looked beautiful. I really loved just I maybe just the alien aesthetic, but them being inside the space station just looked so scenic. The scene where they're blasting up from the ground from their planet to go to the space station, man, just like the sounds and the them just bursting through the clouds, I love that. Story wise, I liked it too. I mean, I think it has I wouldn't say some problems, but overall I think I enjoyed it. How about you?
I actually really enjoyed the movie. I would definitely say this is a classic play the hits kind of scenario. It's pretty original when it comes to almost nothing, but not in a bad way, if that makes sense. We took everything we loved from every previous Alien movie, we added new characters and a new little spin to it, and we basically tied everything together to make what is like the perfect Alien movie. I'm not saying it's my favorite or the best, but if you were to take
Mhm.
all the best parts of something and make a new thing out of it, it's like, perfect. I would say that I will agree that the movie was visually stunning as well. The cinematography was absolutely beautiful. You could
Yeah.
tell that the directors and everybody involved really cared about the minutia and the details of the world building. When it comes to the machinery of all the things they interact with, to just like the characters, expressions, and the environment itself. There's a lot of
Mhm.
I would say symbolism when it comes to the natural environment versus like this post capitalistic destruction of society. Um, but
Yeah,
yeah,
for like a science fiction movie, I mean, it felt really real. Just how they shot it and filmed, yeah, felt very immersed.
Yeah, oh my gosh, I was very immersed and I was very ready to get scared. I will say that I'm just really excited to talk about this movie.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into it a little bit, starting off the beginning. So yes, I actually ended up arriving at this movie a little bit late, kind of. Where I started off in the movie is so they're on this desolate wasteland, like mining colony, and our main protagonist Rain, she's already bossed up with Andy, and she's basically complaining with the crew about their current state of living, and it's right before they announce that they know how to get home, or not home, but they know how to get to a planet that's actually beautiful. It kind of seems like we've got this like indentured servitude, like coal
Yeah,
mine
yeah.
family aesthetic going on.
I,
That. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. What are you thinking?
I don't know, I mean, like I didn't know that from my previous like alien knowledge, this Wayland Yutani, like they have basically slaves, like you were saying, indentured servants, where they have to meet this I want to say monthly quota or something like that, but it seems that no one makes it because they just keep on raising them higher and higher. It's I don't know, capitalism in a nutshell. Like I don't know what's going on here.
Yes, one of the horror principles of Alien that's supposed to be almost scarier than the creature itself is the idea of like a capitalist dystopia. Basically, corporations or one corporation owns like all of humanity and meeting their demands and profit margins are the most important thing. So we see that
Oh.
in the worst, like in the worst way possible here. I mean, this colony looks terrible. Everyone is dirty. There's no sun. There's no
Mm.
beautiful nature. Everyone is huddled together. You even see like the coal miner like aesthetic. You see the miners come out and they've got the canary that like is supposed to let them know when like gas is gonna, like, it's really bad. Like like it looks hot there. It's humid. Like, man, I wouldn't last. Like, that's a fact. I would not last at all.
Yeah, I'm surprised they can even breathe on this planet. It just seems like it would all just be like fumes and smoke, just like stuck in the atmosphere or
Oh
something
my
like
god,
that.
the air has to taste like your uncle's beat up 2003 Lexus. You know, it's just got to like the worst smog ever coming out the
Yeah.
tailpipe. Yeah, it's got to taste disgusting. So, yeah, following that point, we learn that Andy is a android,
Synthetic.
a synthetic, right? So he's a robot, but he's got a little bit of some malfunctions going on. By the way, Andy is my favorite character in the entire movie. We'll get back to that later. But you know, like you said before, previously, we learned that we have to get to the nice planet, and to do that, we have to do cryo sleep, and that's expensive. So,
Hmm.
jump cut to us getting on the ship, and this is where the actual movie takes place. They finally get there, and of course, through like shenanigans and like, you know, Chekhov's guns and MacGuffins.
See, I was gonna say, did you have a problem of how they got there? Because I was kind of confused when they just started flying the ship up. Like they had no warning or something like that. How did you feel about that?
So how they approached the ship, I think, was honestly okay. I was like, this is like their beat up house that can also move. So
Yeah. Okay.
I think one of my criticisms, well, okay, we'll get to nitpicks later, but my
Hmm.
initial thing was definitely like, you're telling me that like these are like bottom of the barrel children workers, like they've got to be like the bottom on the managerial class, and they're the only ones to have discovered this like whole ass
Oh, this
spaceship.
floating space station. Yeah, yeah. And you would think, I think Wayland Yutani, like they should know that it's up there.
Yeah.
We should say this to the end, but yeah, let's just keep
Oh,
on
yeah,
going
okay,
now.
we'll keep it stepping. So, yeah, we get on the thing, we find the cryo ship pods, but we find out they're out of fuel, so that prompts our characters to venture deeper into the ship.
Hmm.
Now, see, oh, first and foremost, fuck that dude Bjorn, by the way. Like, every other character is pretty much okay. We got the love interest, we've got Navarro, Tyler, you know, well, Tyler's a love interest, but like this Bjorn dude is off ripping asshole. Every single time he's provoked, he just says like the most rude personal thing to all of our characters. So I already know this guy's cooked. Like, there's nothing about him that screams, I'm going to survive to the end of the movie.
Well, for the most part, he's being mean towards Andy, and we find out why he's being mean towards Andy. And this is because his mother was lost in a mining accident when a synthetic chose to save more people than like a certain amount of other people. It was more of like we gotta get the most value, and we don't really care about who dies. Basically, it's kind of like scenario.
Yes, the exact plot to iRobot, by the way. It's the exact moment where Will Smith jumps in the water and the robot comes to save him or the little girl, but the robot picks him because like logic says he's more important. Um,
Right.
so yeah, which is honestly, it's very interesting casting, by the way, for them to make Andy a black person, because like that his like and his synthetic hate comes off as literal racism, because, you know, like
Hmm.
the synthetics seem human, they seem like they have a consciousness, etc. So anyway, getting into the actual alien parts of the movie, we're pretty much immediately greeted with like our worst nightmare. We find out that this ship was transporting basically captured alien specimens from like the very first Alien movie, I believe. So off rip, the second they remove the cryo fuel, that thaws out like 800 face huggers,
Oh
and
man.
and then Andy reboots at the same time. Um, so he's just
See,
sitting there, bro. That was the scariest shot in the whole movie. Andy's sitting there with his hands open, looking like he's like
oh, his
praying at the
eyes
sky.
flip over to the other side. Well, we also find like the android from the first Alien,
Oh
and
yeah.
this is the chip that they eventually give to Andy for the security clearance since they're using him just to get into this building. Like it feels like this would have been like literally impossible if Andy wasn't there, and like we find out later that this is the only reason that they bring him.
Oh yes. Yes, no. We meet one of the original synthetic androids, but that guy's like super Terminator villain mode. Human lives don't matter. The
Yes,
alien is perfect. The only way to get through this
serve
is
the
to save this
company.
specimen. Yeah, right. The prime directive: save the company, not the humans. So yes, we get the initial facehugger scene, and they did a really good job at building tension here. My favorite thing ever is the fact that they're surrounded by the aliens and they're fighting back, but they're in the water. The whole time I'm like, how are all nine people in this room like not face hugged? But they were fighting
Yeah,
for their life, and then as they're running away, and escaping, I'm like, oh my gosh, no one's gonna get face hugger. They just baited us. But then like I think it's Navarro who turns around. Um,
yep.
turns around and then there's this face hugger mid jump, so she turns basically and immediately gets smacked in the schnoz with this face hugger, and I'm pretty sure like oxygen left my entire body when this happened.
Yeah, it was definitely unforeseen. We knew somebody, of course, was gonna get face hugged, but yeah, that was she just turned around, boom, and then that's over. And it seems like there was like nothing else they could do, especially that her and Bjorn was in a relationship, and this dude is like, we're not fucking leaving her. He is
Yes.
coming with us. I was like, oh, they're done. There's no way.
They're absolutely oh yeah, she gets gripped in the face, and I'm like, oh my god, this is terrible. And also there's that scene right before, I think it's Bjorn who gets face hugged halfway, and the thing is like in his mouth and he has to pull it
I
out, and it's
think
like absolutely disgusting.
the other guy saves him. I'm forgetting his name right
I think
now.
it's Tyler. I think Tyler's his name.
Oh, Tyler. Tyler does save him. Yep.
Yeah, so she's sitting there on the fourth season, and we know what's gonna happen as the audience. We've seen like terrible and amazing alien movies, and versus Predator. We know what's about to go down. So
We
she's
know,
pretty
yeah.
much cooked. But for it, at least in my knowledge, for one of the first times ever, they actually come up with a way to remove the alien from the person's face, other than just let it sit there and like suck the person. They're like, hey, what if we like freeze its tail? And I was like, oh, this is so cool.
Hmm.
So they do the freezing tail thing. They rip it off, and they're like, Mr. Synthetic. That's like, by the way, he's cut in half the entire movie, and we'll get to this a little bit later. But he goes, uh, uh, not gonna lie, it's looking tough. Like 60 something percent chance that she already got impregnated, and we're like, the whole time, for the first time when an alien grabs somebody, I didn't know whether or not they were gonna get chest bursted. How did you feel? Like, or did you already know it was like she was cooked?
Well, I mean, she had to be getting cooked, honestly. But when we compare it to the first Alien, I think Kane is like he is face hugged for quite a bit,
Oh yeah, it's like
and
20 minutes of him on the
then
ground.
yeah, and then he gets chest burst. This happens pretty quick,
Yes.
but there could be reasons to that. We don't know, especially since they released it earlier. Maybe it can happen faster, and the face hugger just naturally releases when it wants to. But I don't know. It seemed like it happened like that, and yeah, stuff kind of goes like starts going crazy right after.
Almost immediately, yeah. So she gets back to the ship, and she's pretty much just chilling. And then she's got the little X-ray device that they find, and she's like, "Why my chest hurt?" And then bang, alien comes exploding out of her chest. Everyone's like, "Oh well, actually, let's rewind a little bit. Let's discuss the pivotal like quarantine scene." So this is a very big thing. The first movie, Sigourney Weaver's character Ripley is like, "No, I'm a medical science officer. We have to quarantine this person who just came in contact with an alien species we are unfamiliar with." And we have the same scenario in this movie. The difference being that Bjorn and some of the other people are like, "No, we're just gonna go home. We're just gonna ignore the fact that she just got gripped up by an alien." And
All
then
right.
the synthetics are like, "Absolutely not. We're keeping her here." And then my favorite, this is an amazing scene. Andy and the other synthetic, like everyone else is arguing for like 20 minutes, but Andy and the other synthetic handle the conversation like 5 seconds. He's like, listen, probability says she's cooked. We cannot let her get on the ship. Humans are too emotional. It's going to take them too long to figure this out, which is true because that's what
Mhm.
happened in the first Alien movie. It took them too long to figure it out. The chest burster came out, whatever. So Andy turns into the T-1000 and he starts running after her, and I was terrified. I was like, oh my god, they've created terror in everything. Like, and if I'm running for my life, and this motherfucking Andy is running me down, bro, and he's
Oh no,
like,
it's like he put that chip in and he got beast mode going.
he just got
I'm
beast
like,
mode going.
can all synthetics just get a chip and like they're automatically just faster and
Oh yeah,
smarter
he
and
bro,
stronger?
fixed his cognitive disability, fixed his like his physical ailments, like anything he
Stop
had
telling
going
his
on.
jokes.
Yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, fixed his terrible humor. Like honestly, he was just fixed. And then bro, when he grabs the door that Bjorn tries to shut on him, and he's just staring at bro while he's opening it. I was like, this is literally Arnold Schwarzenegger from the Terminator. This is the scariest thing ever. Um, so that part was pretty great, and I thoroughly enjoyed the fact that they started using other elements of horror in the movie to try to like let you know that it's not just the alien that's scary. You know, we got Weyland Yutani, the synthetics, like everything in this movie is just like the worst
It
possible
to me,
scenario.
I don't know if Alien is a franchise is, but it's just so nihilistic to me. It's like why even try?
Why even
Sometimes when you
try?
watch these movies, man, especially the one point like we find out that the xenomorph that like ravaged the station and why it's just decommissioned to begin with and how it died. I didn't know this. The ultimate move of a xenomorph is to die and just the acid blood just goes through the hull of the ship. That's a thing. I didn't know that was like a premise of Alien.
Oh yeah, it's just tough. Like the acid
Like
blood
the
is like,
ultimate checkmate. Like
yes,
what?
you don't get to win. You know, you just never get to win. And that's why I think the alien is known as probably one of the scariest creatures ever because there's
Yeah,
nothing about it
Apex.
that's like, yeah, there's nothing about it that's not terrifying.
And
So
it's somewhat human, and that's what always makes it scarier.
yes, it's got like reactions to things, but it's like if you've ever owned or interacted with a cat, they don't care about you, your life, or who you want. They're just gonna mess with everybody, and they're gonna hunt anything from toys to the mice. They're just gonna ignore your desires, and they're just gonna get what they
Yeah.
want.
Yes.
So following that moment, so then we get the moment where the chest burster finally explodes out of Shorty's chest, and they're all freaking the fuck out, and they don't know what to do. And then in
Yeah.
this time, we also get the scene where they have to crawl through the hull of the ship silently in order to
Oh yeah, because it
evade the
crashes.
facehuggers.
She's the pilot and she's flying, and then the chest burster comes, and then they crash. I thought that scene looked pretty nice though, but it was really lucky that they ended up in the other like what is it called?
Like
You
section
know
of the
in Star
ship.
Wars where like they land their ship.
Oh yeah, it's like the
Uh,
cargo hold kind of thing, like
yeah,
the space. It's a super bad coincidence. Yeah, so they're crashing there, and I'm like this whole time I'm like, okay, like I'm just waiting for the alien to come out because I don't know what's going on, man. I just know that
right,
there's gonna be an alien. And I don't know if there's gonna be an alien or aliens kind of scenario.
right, yeah,
Um,
same.
So by this point, I'm just waiting for it to go down. But then they kind of they kind of give the audience another appetizer with this facehugger scene. So basically, the crew has to sneak past the facehuggers, and Andy gives some pretty important exposition where he's like they hunt based on sound and body heat, right? So they're walking through and they're doing really good, and Andy's like, don't react, don't do this, and this
Mhm.
motherfucker Tyler answers a goddamn cell phone call in the middle of it. Andy said there's two rules: be quiet and don't freak out. He picks up his Motorola and he said, "What's going on? What's going
Isn't
down?"
his sister calling him right? If I'm not correct,
Yeah,
if
his
I'm not
sister's
wrong.
calling him, freaking out about the chest burster, and he's like,
Right, yeah.
he goes, "Yeah, my bad," and he picks it up and he starts flipping out, and so then they got to run away from the
You gotta
facehuggers.
get a jet. Yeah, get the jet.
I didn't like this scene that much. I'm gonna be honest. Like I get it, like it was building tension, but I thought it was one of the weaker scenes in the movie just because of how absolutely stupid it was to just like
You
put
know
your
what?
ringer
I
on.
think that's a fair criticism. And I think that's quite I liked it until yeah, probably the part where he answers his phone because that's the most unrealistic I would say. I mean, these things like I feel like they would have reacted to that instantly. You know?
Instantly. And you know what I will also say? There was that scary piece of cinematography though, where they throw the flare
Yeah.
in order to
I was thinking
attract
about
them,
that.
and they all chase it for a second and realize that it was a fake thing, and they keep they
Yeah,
keep running after
they
the
get
survivors.
upset and they start running more, man. They like, oh my god.
It was like if you lobbed off a zombie's hand and it was just running at you. But all the practical effects in this movie, oh my gosh, I can't talk about it enough. It was just like it was absolutely phenomenal. Uh,
Yeah.
so moving on from that part, what scene do you want to talk about next? Because there's so many absolutely amazing scenes to talk about, and I don't want to spend too long nitpicking everything. But what do you think is a good next part
Well,
to
we
do?
could talk about just the person who got just obliterated this movie. Tyler's sister, I'm forgetting her name. Is it Kay?
Yes.
Kay. Kay is on the ship that just crashed into the hull, let's say, uh, of the hangar. There we go, the
Oh,
hangar.
there we go. Yeah, we forgot that word. Like actually,
Oh, and this is on the Romulus side of the ship because there are two sides, Remus and Romulus. So they
yes.
end up on the other side, and she is pregnant. She's vomiting.
Oh my
She's not
god.
feeling well, and she is stuck in this ship with Bjorn and Navarre's dead body and the xenomorph that just emerged. And keep in mind, this thing grows fast. I want to say it's just stuck on a wall right now.
Hmm.
And she walks past it, and then Bjorn comes up, tasers it. He's like, "Yeah, yeah, this is what you get, yeah." And then we get the tail wipes at him. He falls to the ground, and then the acid blunt just falls on him,
Oh
and
my
he
god.
just
Yes.
straight through the heart. I want to say,
It was like the most unexpected acid death in the whole movie because typically acid deaths in the Alien franchise occur when the character has killed the alien or is in the midst of killing the alien and then it like explodes back into their face and kills them or drips onto them, like, because they're in close proximity. But in this case, he tases the shit out of an alien egg, and you're like, oh my god, he just fried that thing. He killed it. Okay, Bjorn, tee up. But what actually happens is his bro starts like melting his fingers off, and then he gets tail swiped, like you just said, bro. It's like a full camera, just like non-breaking moment of watching this guy get melted, and there's nothing for him to fight. That's the fucked thing. It's
yeah,
not
the
like he can
xenomorph hasn't
fight
even come
back.
out yet.
Yes,
It's just in the I don't mean to explain it. It's just yeah, he seems so powerless.
bro, he's losing the one-on-one to physics. Like he's just like and then they're just sitting there, bro.
Gravity.
Yeah, and then he's just dead. And I was like, okay, I'm not gonna lie, I did not expect his death scene to be so like graphic, but also subtle. Like I don't know, it's like if the oxygen just turned toxic and ripped his head off or something. I know that doesn't make any
Mhm.
sense, but it's like he died to the environment. He didn't. He didn't die to like
Yeah,
the enemy.
yeah.
Um,
And you know what we forgot to mention? You remember the like the gravity drives that turn on and off? I totally forgot about that.
yes, yes, that was one of the things they first mentioned initially. Is randomly throughout the ship because of like whatever bullshit reason they can.
Because of the ship is like injured, not injured, it's damaged, and I think that
Yes.
was one of the main things that were damaged. Yeah.
Yeah, so they get affect whether like zero gravity or main gravity will be a factor, and of course they just do it to set up that really cool scene later with the guns. Um,
Oh yes, for sure, for sure.
yes, but so at this point the main cast is pretty much alerted to the presence of an alien and some other creatures, so they have to figure out how to grab the cryo stuff and successfully escape. So then we're moving a little bit forward, and we get do we get the rifle scene by this point, or do we have to watch the other
The
character? Oh, it's the
This
chase scene.
scene is the he eventually makes it out, K, of their ship, and oh my god, this xenomorph is just hunting her basically. And we get one of the best scenes in the movie of of Rain and Tyler begging Andy to open the door for them to save their friend. But Andy's like, "Do you
Oh
not
my
see
god.
do
Yes.
you not
Yes.
see the xenomorph ready to pounce?" He's like, "He's gonna kill us all.
Yes.
Why would I open the door?"
I would have fell for that so fast. I'm actually an idiot because I was like, she's banging on the door. She's fighting for her life. She's like,
Pregnant lady.
yeah,
Yeah.
bruh, please. And it's like an interesting illusion because you don't know who like the father is. I know that's we'll get to that later. When it comes to like like nitpicking the movie and stuff, but like it's
Hmm.
just like she's pregnant, she's your friend, she's surviving, she's right outside. I'm opening the door I'm so stupid, and then Andy's like, I didn't notice this either. I'm like, because I'm thinking, why is the alien not killing her? I just kept thinking that. I was like, well, she's
He's
alive
banging
so
on the
long.
door, right?
Yeah, I'm like, oh, like naturally, like the alien's just gonna kill her right in front of them, and like her blood's gonna get splattered on the glass. But instead, you're like treated to this suffering, like this elongated suffering, just like
Oh yeah.
like a cat, like playing with his food or something, just sitting there
Yeah.
bleeding out. And Andy, bro, locked in as usual, best character in the movie, always standing on business. He's like, yeah, nah, gang. The alien is specifically waiting for us to save her, so we can all get clapped. And I'm not falling for it. I'm not dying.
Yeah. And
What
then
tough?
boom, she just gets stabbed through her shoulder or something like that, and she's taken away, and we're like, oh, she's dead, all right,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
right?
Oh yeah. She's dead. Right. This can't get worse than that for her.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So I'm like, first of all, I'll be honest. Like, I'm kind of like a horror psycho a little bit. Like, I like the larger the cast, the better, because that means more interesting death scenes.
More deaths. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I
So
think the same.
at the time, I was like, that's kind of weak, but whatever. We'll keep it pushing. So they eventually have to make their way further through the ship, and the alien re-engages with them, and we get the classic Alien One moment where Tyler, the most military engaged individual, hands out the
For some reason, we
aim
don't know
assist
why.
guns.
he just knows all the stuff. You know, he's like, this has 43 rounds.
Oh
Can you
yeah,
like this?
I didn't even
I'm
think
like,
about that.
dude, like, where do you know this? He's, video games, and we see them playing like goddamn Pong
Uh,
earlier. Like, what?
yeah, man.
What are you
Mortal
talking
Kombat
about?
1 is not going to teach you how to use a standard issue Colonial Marines auto assist firing gun, but that's fine.
I'm saying that was so strange, but yeah.
That's fair. I didn't consider that. Yeah, that's pretty. Unless like we're just playing Mill Sims exclusively, like maybe he's playing Squad or Ground Branch every day. But
Hmm.
yeah. So he hands them out, and the guns have a like the auto detection, so you don't have to actually know how to aim, which is actually a pretty nice compensation for the fact that half the cast is not a Colonial Marine, as was like Ripley's entire crew, so they were all trained with a gun. So they hand them out, and basically they're in a gunfight trying to get to the elevator.
We also get the scene where we kind of need this because I want to say Andy he finds the serum they were working on basically
Oh wow,
Wayland
I
and John.
totally forgot that. That's like one of the most significant things ever. Yes.
Yeah, and he brings it with him. I want to say that the Rook tells him to do it or tells him to get it.
Yes.
But besides, yeah, he gets that, and then the scene of just them going at the alien.
Yes, because that's actually important to worth note. So Andy by this point has gotten a glow up, and because he has a glow up, he's now got like an attitude. He's the cool
Mhm.
kid now. So he's the he's the bully. Everybody was being an asshole to him. So now that he's like that he's built different and he's hot, he gets to just do whatever the fuck he wants. So he's like, fuck y'all. Prime Directive is the company. I'm a company man. I'm standing on my dollars. They make me 7 foot tall. So when he grabs the alien species, it's simply for the betterment of the company and for the
Mhm.
synthetics' desire to uh, help further along the evolution of the alien, which is interesting because some people don't like the Prometheus prequel movies. That
Mhm.
whole or Alien Covenant, some people are not a big fan of that component
Yeah.
of it. So I was interested to see how they were going to execute it, and we'll get to that in the future. But yes, so he grabs the space chemicals, which is like the DNA of the aliens that helps them evolve, and then you see
Right.
that little video of the rat. Like fixing all of its broken bones and stuff when it's injected with
Oh,
the
yeah, we think
serum.
it's okay. Yeah.
Yes, but
It's
then we see
working.
the aftermath, which is it turns into this vile creature, like this abomination,
Yeah. A
and then
test
it's
work.
not for
I
us to
think
the
actually happened. Yeah.
yeah. And so oh yeah, so now we're continuing to get the hallway scene. Tyler's like, oh my god, I love you, you're so cute, and they're like, bloom 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 bloom, and then he gets he's our first like face rip victim. He gets stabbed in the chest,
Yeah, we get
pulled up
the
in the
second
air.
mouth in the eye, right? I want to
Yes,
say,
he gets kissed in the mouth. We get the
and there are
classic.
tons of alien by then.
Yes,
But the classic. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say this is the classic face eat scene where the little tongue mouth
Yeah,
comes out and like eats his
like,
face,
it's,
which is
also, I
fucked.
wasn't sure where all these aliens came from because we only get one true chest burster alien, but also I think it's the scene where they're in like the cryo freeze room. Do you think they just had multiple like stages of aliens in the embryo and they just all grew at the same time? Because I was kind of confused where all these aliens came from.
Yeah, I think it's implied that there's like that there
A
was
lot.
like yeah like other aliens on the ship that were past like the facehugger stage, and that like once they unfroze, they were pretty much able to continue developing. And
Right, yeah,
also,
I was kind of surprised, honestly. Oh my God, it's like
I
50.
I like to think that like maybe like some like one of the aliens after the fact picked up Bjorn and like as a snack and brought it around all the homies so they could grow up and eat.
Oh, yeah, true. Okay.
Um, so yeah, so Tyler's faceless, gone. His girl sees him get absolutely nay-nayed, and then we get the elevator scene with Andy and Rain, where Andy, I guess, like rediscovers the power of friendship. Was that what is this before or after the zero gravity scene?
So I want to say that they save Kay, they send her back up with the serum because Ruck's like, Andy, put the serum in there. It has to survive.
Oh
Some,
yeah, you're no.
yeah,
Yes, yes. And then the funny thing about that too is she's like, "Am I gonna die?" And Andy's like, "Probably."
yeah.
He's
But I
like,
swear she like injects herself with it while she's going up, and I don't think they know. I
no, they
want to
don't. No, she's separated by them. She's bleeding out. She's having a hard time, and then she looks up and notices that the ship is like, it's gonna require some parkour to get up there or something like that. And then
Mhm.
she's like, I don't want to fucking die. And then so she she does black tar heroin for the first time.
Okay.
Um, yeah, man. I just like by this point in the movie, I think I would have sent myself out of the airlock or something because I just can't do it. Like when you put a gun in my hand to fight the aliens, I feel empowered. But like after watching everybody die like this, like Andy's still tweaking, man. Like I don't know like what I would do. Okay, I'm skipping ahead. We'll get to how we'd react to certain things, but
Okay. Yeah.
uh,
So, what happens next? I want to say. Oh, she has to take the chip out of Andy's head because I want he gets injured and he has to reboot.
yes,
And to reboot, she has to like open his chip up and fix it. And she's like, if it's in the best interest of the company for you not to die, to convince him to open it, and she does it, and we get regular, plain, good old Andy back. How did
yes.
you feel about that?
I was like, it took us a little bit long to get back to what I knew we were going for, but like Andy being like, no, like, yeah, let me stay cool and hot. I was like, dude, is this Mean Girls? Like, let's just get to the part where Andy is good again. Like, what are we doing? Um,
Yeah, so I didn't know like are most synthetics in the Aliens like franchise considered like bad like because of like their programming? I want to say.
Typically, the motif is the synthetics pretend to serve the crew, but their prime directive is to serve the company, which is typically like doesn't matter who dies as long as we can get the specimen back to the company.
Right. Okay.
Um,
Gotcha. Yeah.
so that's usually how it goes. But Andy's a special case because Andy gets to have like character development as a robot.
Right.
So yeah, like you said, we removed the chip. Andy still gets to keep all of the upgrades, but he's no longer under the control of Wayland Yutani's whispering and 401k benefits. So he ends up aiding and helping her, and we climb up the elevator. And this is the worst scene in the movie, by the way, in my opinion.
Well, we got to talk about the gravity and
Oh,
the
it's
she
the
turns
gravity
the
shootout.
gravity to
Okay, I'm
show
sorry. I
the
can't
alien.
stop thinking about this terrible elevator
I
scene.
know.
We're gonna
I
get
know.
to it. Okay,
We'll
you're
get
right.
to it. Yeah.
So amazing scene though. We get to use the auto rifle. We turn the gravity off as we think our main character is in peril and going to die. We use the auto rifle. It starts locking on. We're getting straight headshots. Like
We are Soldier 76
Soldier
pulsing from
70. Oh
both
yeah,
sides.
that's right. I got you in
We
my
are locked
sights.
in.
Yeah,
We are killing these
boom boom,
aliens.
bro. It's
Blood
like 3 round burst,
everywhere.
headshots only. Yeah, we didn't
Yeah,
miss. Right,
absolutely.
honestly, put her on my siege team. I'm ready to win ranked. Yeah, so she blicks everyone down, but then we get the really cool spiral acid blood stuck in the air because obviously the blood
Oh
doesn't go
yeah,
anywhere.
she's floating and she is just about to get destroyed by this acidic blood, man. But
Yes.
good old smart rain, bro. She hits the physics, shoots in the opposite direction and
Yeah,
saves
she like
herself.
propels herself with the gun out of the acid spiral. That was pretty cool, and I
I
really
mean,
liked.
okay.
They kept the logic of the movie too, when they were like, "Hey, when the gravity turns off, all of this fucking acid's gonna melt through the hole, and we're gonna have like the oxygen's gonna get sucked out." So I was like, "Oh, okay, that's cool. At least they didn't forget about that. Like that's like the whole
Right.
fundamental principle of like the reason the ship got destroyed the first time." So yeah, they
So
get through that.
also, oh, I gotta save that till the end. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so we get through that, and then eventually we get to our disgusting elevator scene. And the reason this is so important, and I keep referencing it, is because of how like terrible it is when franchises get like 19 continuations and sequels. Because this is why when we try to reference old shit too much. So Andy and Rain are climbing up it. They're shooting like the different aliens and stuff, hopping side to side. Like obviously, I know no one's gonna die in like this elevator shaft. It's too like
All right. Yeah.
it's like this is literally just Die Hard or the like Obi-Wan from the Phantom Menace when he's fighting Darth Maul. It's like the same. Oh, I'm gonna fall, but I'm not. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, so Andy grabs the gun, like knees the alien all the way down, and he goes, "Get away from her, you bitch," which is Sigourney Weaver's amazing line to the young child character when she saves her life in one of the original Alien movies, and that's just
And
like don't like why would you do that? Like when Ripley says it, you're like, oh my god, this is amazing. Yeah, that's your like Avengers moment where you're screaming in the theater. But when Andy says it, you're like, dude, like why would so first of all, practically, why would he say that line? It doesn't make sense for his character, and also it's a bit of a member berries nostalgia play on the
it
audience.
is nostalgia bait, but okay. I was gonna say, how did your theater react to that? Because my theater, they were like, "Woo, okay, okay, go ahead and do basically." But how was yours? Did you even have a full theater? Or was it just you?
So I went to a Regal theater in Miami Beach, and for context, it was like opening night before opening night. I saw it at like it was like 8 or 9 o'clock the day before it was supposed to come out.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I had a captivated audience, but I also had a homeless man in the theater
Oh,
speaking in tongues for a little bit, but that he
yeah.
was gone by this point. So
Oh, okay.
I do not recall a positive reaction to this scene. I think everybody was
Really?
like,
Okay.
"Keep it pushing." That's kind of like that was kind of ugly. Like that was
Hmm.
bad. Like that was
Okay. Got some mixed opinions on that, but okay, I see.
yeah, I just I couldn't do that one. But
That
you
that's
said your theater
pretty
reacted
cool.
positively. How did you
Yeah,
feel
that
about it? Like I don't know. It
was
unimmersed
a
me for
little
like
funny.
10
I don't
seconds.
know. Like Andy as a character, he wasn't like a dead serious. Like he's a synthetic, and his main motivation right now is just serve Rain, protect Rain, and then I mean I thought it was fitting. I didn't really mind it too much, but I can say that you didn't like it too much.
Yeah, I mean, if Andy was like calling Bjorn like a bitch ass loser like 20 minutes ago, I'd be like, I'm down for this. But like, when did Andy learn how to curse? I don't know. I was not vibing with that. Um, so after keeping that shit pushing, because I just needed to get that out of the way, we return back and we basically now have to fight like Rook's desire to save the specimen, and we have to fight the rest of the aliens to finally get home. So now, out of the next couple scenes, do you find any memorable than the last act? Because honestly, everything after this point is pretty much a blur until we get to the absolutely legendary final moment of the movie.
Okay, well, I think I did like the one scene where I want to say when they're climbing up the elevator shaft, Rain falls and she gets caught, and you're like, "Oh, she's saved. She got caught," and then you find out it's just a xenomorph
Oh,
that caught her
okay, that was funny. Yes.
with its tail, and I'm like, "Oh, why is it not killing her?" But I'm like, is it also trying to impregnate her? Like, I was a little confused. Like, how did you feel about that?
I actually didn't find that abysmal because initially I was thrown off and confused. I was like, why is the alien not killing people? But then I remember like we kidnapped the
Oh yes, that's a
oh
great
yeah, we
callback.
completely forgot to talk about this. Yeah, we kidnapped the
No, we talked
pregnant.
about Katie and kidnapped, yeah,
Yeah,
and then she
we
got saved.
right. So Kay didn't actually die when she was first like tail stabbed. She was saved by Tyler and them, and we found out that's how she gets the ship. But yeah, but like by this point I was like, oh okay, that's fine. Like catching her, trying to save a little snack for later. It's like a Slim Jim in your pocket, or like a
Oh my
Mento or
god.
something.
Human Slim Jim, yeah.
Yeah, human Slim Jim. We're just trying to make sure that we can get the babies fed. So I was like, okay, that's not completely unbelievable. But like the elevator scene, you're just honestly making it worse for me because I completely forgot that she gets caught by an alien like a baseball, like flying out of Yankee Stadium. But that's fine.
Yeah. Yes.
Um,
No, but then we get to the ultimate climax scene of when they're in their own ship. Wait, they're not in their own ship. Where are they? How do they leave?
they're on their way to their own ship, and then you remember when Andy smacks those chains that are dangling, and Bjorn's like, "Don't touch shit," like he's a 5 year old at a retail store.
Yeah.
That we use those same chains later. So basically, we got to do some repair
Oh,
stuff. Yeah. So we put on the spacesuit, knock down the zero gravity. Oh wait, no, shit. I don't even remember how they handle most of these aliens. It doesn't even matter. We're going to get to the best part of the movie. Skipping all that nonsense. So we get back to the ship. We're like, boom, I'm ready to go to bed and go sleepy sleep. We plugged in Andy to the iPhone power charger so that way he could charge on fast mode for 9 years because that's how long it takes to get to this other planet. And then we're like, oh my God, Kay's pod is open. Let's go see what she's doing. And it's like, for some reason, now she's 9 months pregnant. And you're like, this cannot be good.
yeah, what's going on? Like,
And then, oh my God, this is extremely vile. She gives birth to the alien egg itself, which hatches and then is like this Promethean human alien thing from
like
like
7 feet tall,
yeah, from
just
like Alien
skinny.
Resurrection. It is a walking nightmare. It's what you see in your sleep paralysis. It's just skin goo in an alien like skeleton. It's fucked.
Oh, so how did your theater react to the scene basically where Andy finds her and she looks at this she looks at something behind Andy and we turn around and we see this abomination on the screen
Uh,
because It was all gas on my side.
It was a shared trauma experience. I think everyone like was immediately trying to cope with what they were seeing by removing the memory from their existence. So I think it was just like a collective like we're gonna leave this theater different people after this. And the creature's design is also amazing because it's like it's giving off human emotions, but they're fraudulent. Like the creature smiles on accident just by like
Oh,
moving its facial muscles. Like it approaches its mom at like full capacity, and you're like, is it gonna like take care of
it
her?
injures Andy and just looks at his mom, and we're like, "What is going on?"
What is
I
going?
had the same thoughts.
And it
And
fucking starts eating her, and that was
yeah,
like that was insane. Like that she's
it
got to
was
have the worst character day of anyone that's ever been
by
played
far,
in a movie. Like
by
everyone, all
far.
your friends died. You're pregnant. You got taken hostage. You got impregnated by a fucking alien, and you got space goo injected in you, black tar heroin, and then you just gave birth to a perverted version of your child, which ate you. Um, I needed to get up and like I wanted to like leave the theater, not because the fact that the movie was perceived negatively, but because I was afraid for my mental health. Uh, I was like, whatever this image is burned into the back of my skull.
Yeah, so, fun fact, I remember I don't even know when I like, just in the past, I saw this video of this, Hungarian basketball player, and I'm like, "Man, this guy looks really strange." Come to find out that he plays this damn offspring.
Oh, nice.
Yes, his name is Robert. I'm about to destroy his last name. Bobrovsky, and he is a Hungarian 6'7" basketball player, and this dude is just he plays his role to a T. I was just so surprised to see that he did this, but some great casting, man. Honestly, I don't like. You know something about like the original Alien? Wasn't he like I think he was an African gentleman. He was also like super tall, so I like
Yes,
how they kept on with that.
with people in the
No, like
suit.
full CGI. Yeah, right.
I appreciated that too. And then we basically get this like there's these like slow lurking shots of the alien's face as it pretty much reacts to its environment and starts to learn, and then it's like conflicting with its nature, which is basically to kill and eat people. And then Rain locks in, puts the spacesuit on, and pretty much does the classic blow the alien out of the airlock with a special twist, which was like destroying the rest of the ship with the alien still in it. Um,
No, they're like fighting, or they're in that since they're in their mining ship, they have those rocks in the hole at the bottom, not the hole. They're carrying like a big basket basically, and it's attached to the ship, and
yes,
she's fighting him. And I think eventually she just like finds a way to get out of there, but also, oh, she's hanging onto the
she
chain.
grabs the rope. Yeah.
Yes, you're right, and she flips the switch and sends this thing falling down into the ring of their planet that the ship eventually gets disintegrated into.
Yes, which was honestly a really cool shot. I was a little bit
Oh man,
afraid.
once again, yes, with like the scenes, man, like
Oh
beautiful.
yes, the visuals were absolutely stunning, especially because like you really felt like that was some like solar, I don't know, like a hammer, like not a hammer grinder, but like it was just like a big spinny thing that looked like it would break shit. So I was like, I believe it. Yeah, whatever it is. I don't know if that's how science works. I'm not an astrologist, but I was
Yeah, so I didn't even think that rings like would be a rock and you can die by hitting one. Like obviously that makes sense,
Oh,
but
as a kid, my dumb ass thought I could surf those for sure. Like I was like,
yeah,
oh,
exactly.
you could just like walk around in the rainbow. Um, so after we kill the alien, I couldn't stop like having flashbacks to my childhood trauma. When I saw Alien 4, Alien Resurrection, and there's that human alien at the end of that movie, I remember how absolutely uncomfortable I was. I had nightmares for weeks, by the way, when I saw that movie.
Hmm.
Um, and there's the scene where she makes a tiny hole. Ripley makes a tiny hole in the window, which sucks the alien's uh, guts out of
Hmm.
it and blasts it into space, but like by sucking its blood and guts out. And I was like, that scene was like a 10 when I was a kid. Alien Romulus's like offspring creature was like a 17. I can't handle like that. Like if I would have seen that with my eyes after
Hmm.
everything I endured, I would have smashed the glass plate on my spaceman helmet and just let like the cold darkness of space rip me out of it and kill me instantly. There's absolutely no universe where I'm going toe to toe with that thing. Absolutely not.
Yeah, like these strong female characters, man, like they are just above us. Like
Above
I
us.
can't imagine doing this fighting like this with this creature that is just trying to kill you. That like I can't imagine.
I'm
And
just
they're
not
just
that
over
good.
here battling, just winning. I'm like, I'm all for it.
Yeah, you know what? And I will say that that's like an amazing thing that I think horror movies do, especially the Alien series, really well. Is like they take these scenarios where like people always go, "Oh, masculinity and brute strength is how you win," but no, it's like the intelligence of the female characters is what assists them in defeating the villain and staying alive the entire time. Like
Mhm.
using the zero gravity to shoot all the aliens to keep themselves alive. You know, like trusting Andy and just making smart decisions in general. That's the reason like that character survived. Bjorn, like the punch first, ask questions later idiot, is the first guy to die. So you know it really
Yep.
says something about the capability of some of these really well written and strong female protagonists.
I mean, Sojourner Reaver and the first Alien really set the like
Set the
the
bar.
at the bar, yeah, for sure. And she's like a screen queen, yeah, in her own. And I really like this main character. I'm not sure about you, but I thought her and like the dynamic with Andy, I liked very much. These are like actors I didn't know about either. I like how they did that compared to
Yes.
like I want to say like Prometheus and Alien Covenant, where we get these like Michael Fassbenders and like Danny McBride and stuff like
Yes.
that.
It's just like, isn't I swear isn't like a James Franco in like Alien Covenant? Doesn't he like die after 3 seconds of being in the movie?
He is in the movie, and he is already dead. I want to
Yeah,
say.
he
I
like
think,
dies before the ship lands or something
yeah,
insane.
right. I totally forgot about that, and that's a great example.
Yeah, it's like we don't need A-list celebrities. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, I find it better that way because I have nothing else to associate with them. So their role
See,
is like that's it. That's all I can see them as.
I would say that, but then we get like people like Michael Fassbender who go too fucking insane with how good they play like his synthetic, and I'm like, oh, this is perfect. But yes, also I do love that these people are just I wouldn't say nobodies, but people we don't know. Like, boom,
Well, let
they
me
did all
splash
a good
back to
job.
that claim. Although Michael Fassbender did an amazing job as the synthetic, you're telling me that wasn't Magneto the entire time? Like every time he was on screen, I was like, "Oh, that's just Magneto as a synthetic." Like, not to say
Okay,
his performance was
no.
bad. It's just like I'm seeing Michael Fassbender cook. I'm not seeing the synthetic. You know? Does that make
Well,
sense?
also we see like we see David and then we see the other one. I forgot his name, but like there's two of them. We see like two. They're not both Magneto. Maybe one has like some characteristics, I guess, but still, it's not just that.
Okay, that's fair. I think
But
some certain
yeah,
certain actors they just like I'm just watching them act, and I kind of want to be a little bit more like towards the character. But he did an amazing job. It's not an insult. It's actually one of the best compliments, and unfortunately, I just find it to be like a criticism of mine. Okay, so basically, after the alien is defeated, we finally get to rest and sleep and get traveled back. So now we can move on to our segments section. So sequel possibility. So what do you think happens in Alien Romulus Aliens? Like if we're just going to into a
so
sequel.
we end off with her going to the Yavago system or planet. So I would hope this poor girl and her brother make it to this planet and see the sun. I don't want to see them in another Alien franchise movie. Now, if we get another movie, I would of course enjoy that, but I would hope that they're not in it. I don't think there's a two. I think there's another Alien movie not with them. That's it.
Okay, that's interesting. So you'd say it'd be like these would not be our protagonists for the following movie. It would be like Aliens, where her ship is intercepted and she has to go through it again.
Ugh. Like I wouldn't mind her like acting. I would not mind if she was in another movie, but I would hope for the character, just fictionally, to get what she wants, basically.
That's actually
That
not terrible. I don't
yeah.
disagree with that. That does sound like a satisfying end. Is her arriving at the arriving at the destination she originally wanted to travel to without any further inconveniences. I think once she lands and she gets there, she's gonna have a really hard time. Just because, like, what job is she gonna do? Is she gonna become a medical engineer or something? That would be interesting to see, like her job and her daily life outside of it.
We haven't been in that scenario of just like having to leave everything behind. So there's a will, there's a way. I think anything's better than her just working on that mining, like I said, Mustafar planet, man. So yeah,
Yeah,
she could.
honestly, I could see her and Andy just never talking about it again. Like they're just like, nah, man, we're gonna keep it pushing. We're gonna live in paradise. I could see them doing some like humanitarian efforts, like joining the resistance against Wayland
Oh
Yutani.
wait, but if I'm not mistaken, we get a twist in the movie where like Yavago does not accept synthetics on their planet, right? It's something along that line that's like the
Oh,
true betrayal that Andy feels when
you're right. Okay, I got it. So the true sequel is actually them having to smuggle Andy in and pretend like he's human. Yeah. So the next movie is actually just Blade Runner the whole time,
yeah.
where the synthetics have to evade
Let's
racism. Yeah.
go.
No, this
Yeah.
is much
Right
better. So the
before
sequel is actually just Blade
the
Runner,
story,
which might be
bro.
true. I swear. Our friend Joey was just telling us that Alien and Blade Runner are connected. So
Oh,
actually,
he
you know,
was
yeah,
saying.
the sequel is just Blade Runner. That's fine. We figured it out. Okay.
Let's
Moving
go.
on
Let's
to
bring
that.
back Michael Fassbender while we're at
Oh
it. But
no,
what
okay,
are you
Michael.
saying?
Oh my. Oh, I got you. So it's Michael Fassbender, as the prime antagonist, who everyone
Right.
thinks is human and has been like enslaving all of the
He some way makes his
synthetics.
way like into Yavago, and he's controlling
He's
it.
controlling it. He is Wayland Yutani now.
Yes, yes.
Okay, all right. So moving past that, we're gonna go to criticisms. So I've already talked about mine, but I'm gonna have to rewind. Yeah, definitely answering your fucking phone while you have to be silent is the dumbest shit you could have done. And honestly, Tyler deserved to get killed. That's my hot take as well. That's a double one. Second
Hmm.
criticism: get away from her, you bitch. Is a terrible, 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 greedy, like member berries moment. Like that's gross, man. Like nostalgia is important, but you guys kind of threw on that one.
Hmm.
Um, Also, I feel like immediately not leaving. Like I don't know, man. Like I feel like I might have been out of there and been like, we can just sell this shit. Like you're telling me they can't just sell the pods on their like mining colony to make enough money to travel. Like I don't know, man. There's got to be smugglers, right? There's got to be smugglers that can get you point A to point B. I'm not
Hmm.
doing all this shit.
Well, I don't know. We don't have too much lore about this planet, man. Like maybe so. Like, but this seems like this is like really their only option. Like, what did it say? Yavago was like 9 light years or 9 years away if you
Yeah,
use
they got to sleep
hyperspace.
for like 9 years.
Yeah.
So
Or
what do you
also, I
think? What
was
are your
wondering,
criticisms?
like, when they when they wake up, are they like 9 years older, or are they exactly the same?
I think it's cryo sleep, so it's like they don't physically change at all. I think they just
Just
wake up
nine
as
years
if they
older,
skipped
right?
over
They're
those nine
still
years. Yeah.
22. Yeah. Okay, I see what you mean. See, I'm trying to think. I didn't mind the I know some people have a problem with it for some reason. This really like broke the movie for them. This is not a criticism of me, but like I've heard about this about bringing back the actor who was playing Rook and who has passed away. Like this is a posthumous uh CGI rendering of his face,
I completely
and some
forgot
people
about
had a
this.
problem with that.
Yes.
I mean, honestly, I didn't even realize that was him until after the movie. And I saw something was like kind of weird with his face, but like I didn't really like mind it. I'm not sure. Like I see why people have a problem with it, I guess, but it sounded like I've heard his family talk about it, and it seems like he would love to have been another alien. But how did you feel about it?
I absolutely hated it. I think it's disgusting and unethical, and it's not just the fact that there's like a true like $1 million corporation behind it making that decision,
Oh,
but
it's Wayne Yutani, yeah.
it's a lack of creativity to me because in the other Alien movies, the other synthetics are not just him. Like I think Bishop is a synthetic from Aliens, I do believe, and it's a different actor. And Andy is
Mhm.
a different actor, you know. So there's like absolutely no reason for them to have like resurrected a dead person for the purpose of like reminding you what happened in the first Alien movie.
Honestly, it could have been just a random one too, right? I guess when you really think about
Yes,
it,
and
huh?
also if they really wanted to do that, like guys, you could have just had his face melted off and told us that it was like the the same type of synthetic, like change his voice up a little bit and then just like melt his face off and he's still interacting with Andy, I would have just believed it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to. And also, the CGI was a bit like unimmersive every time. Like, I noticed every single time that it was not a real person because it had that like Star Wars Rogue One kind of like computer graphics where like the person looked like they were in a
I was
PlayStation
thinking
4
the
game.
same. I
Yeah.
don't know why. I just went to Carrie Fisher in my head.
Yeah, no, it's like, am I playing Assassin's Creed or am I watching a real actor like in front of a
Hmm.
camera? So it just felt like a little too much like if a video game character was in like a live action movie. So I was not a fan of
Okay.
that. That's
Okay.
definitely my second greatest criticism, other than the entire elevator scene.
Does that bring the scoring of the movie for you down?
It doesn't affect the. I don't think so. I just think it's one of those things where I think it's like a future
That's a valid
problem.
nitpick, right?
Yeah, it's just like one of those issues in Hollywood that I think they're gonna have to resolve, and I could see it becoming like more prevalent and more of like an irritation later. But I think it doesn't affect the overall movie.
It seems like people like just like new things,
Yes,
or I don't. I
I think it's the opposite actually. I think
these
people want to make money on the old things that already made money.
That's what I was gonna say. These companies feel like we want things like callbacks, like you were saying, especially with the get away from it, get away from her, you bitch. Like we want new things. Maybe if he said something different, we would have just like this has been the new thing. We'd have liked it more, but who knows? But I think overall people like newer things, not callbacks, not nostalgia bait. I know Star Wars really gets like hit with that a lot,
Yes.
but yeah.
Okay, so I guess next we can go on to like most chilling scene. So the scariest scene in the movie that we always discuss, which one got us the
Okay.
most and made us the most uncomfortable. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I want to say it's when when Kay is trying to open up the door to leave their ship when this alien is just being birthed, and I am like yeah, this is terrifying. Like he's either going to die or open this door, and it really was building tension for me, and I think that was the scariest part of the movie for me. What about you?
Oh yeah, no, human birthing actual alien that turns out to be the ugliest thing I've
Oh,
ever
okay.
seen in my life has got to be like the most chilling scene in the movie. Yeah, that one. I'm not gonna forget that.
Honestly, when I figured out that she was giving birth, I would say that was up there too. Like just even the thought of what was about to happen, the tension.
It was like, oh,
Also,
okay, thanks for this. I'll have to go talk about that in therapy.
like, oh, thanks. Yep. I mean, I
Okay,
loved it, man. I want more alien. I want more crazy stuff, man.
I
I
do
want
want more alien, and I want more like colonial marines lore, and I want more just like expanded universe alien stuff. I'm like mix all the plots together. I know what's gonna happen. Like one of these sequel movies is gonna be like an Avengers level threat. It's gonna be Michael Fassbender. It's gonna be the original synthetic. It's gonna be Wayland himself, like Wayland's grandson,
Mhm.
Junior. You know. All right. So next we've got. I've come up with a new segment here. Pick your death. So what death scene? If you had like out of all the characters that were dead in the movie, if you had to pick one way to go, which one are you picking? What's your like? You know what? I guess I'll take that over the others.
Hmm. Okay, so to count, we have a Navarro who gets chest busted.
Yes.
We have Tyler who gets uh second mouthed.
Yeah.
What is it? He gets
He gets kissed on the mouth. Yeah.
yeah, he gets kissed on the mouth. Yeah. We get Bjorn who gets stabbed and then acid rain. And then we have Kay who gets eaten by her child. Okay, so um, this is quite hard. You know
I
what?
think.
I'm
Oh,
gonna
you
go
got
with
it.
Tyler. Yeah.
Oh, I was literally about to say, honestly, getting stabbed, screaming in the creature's face for maybe a second or two, and then getting my face eaten off. But I'm like, it's one shot, one kill. I'm cooked. I'm dead.
Mm-mm.
I'm not mutilated too much. Obviously, closed casket funeral, but the acid, terrible way to go. Can't do that. That's too much. Like that's too much suffering before you die. The alien birth thing is just hell. That's like the worst thing that could happen to a human being. And then I getting chest bursted would suck because you got to get face hugged first. So yeah, I'm going with Tyler. Tyler had the best way to go out. I could get behind that. All right. So
Yeah, I can't even choose anything else. So yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Tyler.
everything else is inconceivable. It's just like keep it away from me. Um, honestly, like the creatives behind these death scenes need to seriously get like investigated by a government agency because like how did you
Mm.
think about this and then turn it into reality? But that's fine. Um, okay, so now score of the movie. Remember, we do an out of 10 score here. We do allow point fives. What are you giving it?
See, I have to go back and watch Covenant because I maybe I like it. I want to say maybe they're on the same tier. I want to give it 8.5 for me. I enjoyed the movie. It made me want more aliens. It made me realize that I missed the Aliens franchise and I need to go back to it and rewatch some things. I want more xenomorphs. I want more sci-fi horror. That is some of the best horror, and it ran back all the memories. I want more, and I loved it. So yes, 8.5 for me.
Okay, so ignoring that absolutely terrible Alien Covenant take because that movie is like maybe a 7 at
We
best.
love it. We
I'm
love it. Gonna
I'm
rewatch it again.
I'm gonna go ahead and give this movie a 9. It's basically an amalgamation of every single thing I love about the Alien franchise. It makes all the characters feel compelling in a way that I didn't think was possible, and it made me hopeful for the future of all franchises that just want to recreate or make sequels to already existing IP. I will say, because of some of the excessive nostalgia bait and the fact that it wasn't anything completely original, it doesn't deserve a 10. But I will say the movie was fantastic, and I am looking forward to a rewatch in the future.
Yes, yeah, same here. Awesome.
All right, so thank you guys for listening. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and follow us on all the platforms that you got. And next time we'll be covering Trap, the worst fucking movie I've ever seen this year.
Let's go.
All right, bye guys.
God
Thank
darn
you.
it. Bye.